Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be able to present to you a topic that I recently started to research and pay more attention to. This is something that 2020 I started to research on, and partly was because I so happened to run across, when I was doing research for a dissertation, I ran across some recordings that were in the Library of Congress on the Seri culture, which are the Conca culture. It's a culture from Sonora, Mexico. And I was studying folklore in the borderlands, and I ran across these recordings, and I was wondering, when I heard them, a lot of things, right? They were recorded in the 1940s. There wasn't much of a description on them, other than Henrietta Yurchenko, which was an ethnomusicologist from New York. She recorded them, and I was very curious about them, right? So I spoke to the Folk Life Center, which is in the Library of Congress, and I asked them if they could facilitate the songs to take them back to the community, repatriate them, and also within that process be able to kind of understand them a little bit more, because I couldn't understand them. And I was just curious, what were these songs about? Right? What were they saying? What were people saying? I mean, these songs were recorded close to 80 years ago, and I was very curious. What were people talking to, or what were they trying to say to the people that went at that time with a massive amount of equipment, right? 300 pounds of a recorder, getting it down to Sonora, Mexico was a big thing, right? It wouldn't have been an easy task. And, I was very curious. So within that, I went down there. I was able to take the songs, and I did some recordings. I'm a filmmaker, so I did some recordings, and I put for this presentation a soundtrack for you, right, that talks about the meaning of these songs. So maybe I sparked the curiosity, like this was 2020, that I was wondering all these things, and now I can give you a little bit more of an answer of what these songs meant. Right, so it's kind of so this presentation has to do with really translating or attempting to translate some of the meaning of these songs, right? And that's the presentation I'm going to introduce to you today. This is what I'm going to have you do. The first gentleman that speaks is going to kind of talk about something that is very important when we talk about these songs. Adolfo Burgos, who was my mentor during the year I was living in Sonora, trying to understand this. And then we're going to go on and talk about these songs, and there's going to be a definition, and trying to explore the meaning of these songs in the natural landscape, right? So hopefully once you see it, you'll understand a little bit of where this journey took me, and you'll understand a little bit more about what these songs meant that were recorded in 1946, okay? So let's play it here.
Esa canción de poder muy fuerte. Ella le la cojo mangate, ella le la cojo mangate. Porque ella le sabe ya ana colmacita fue. Ella le la cojo mate, ella le la cojo mate. Porque ella le sabe ya ana colmacita fue. Cuando quiere entrar a una cueva, tiene que cantar este primero. No hay molesta nada del espíritu malo que está en la cueva. Todas las cuevas hay muy malos, hay espíritus malos y buenos. Pero cuando canta, ya puro bueno van a entrar. Puro. Ahí puede entrar la gente, mucha gente, no hay molesta. Pero que no canta uno, lo van a echar por fuera los espíritus. Muy importante. Una mujer más valiente yo no quiero ser aine. Será aine, será aine, será aine, será aine. Será aine, será aine, será aine, será aine. Será aine, será aine, será aine, será aine. Una mujer más valiente yo no quiero ser aine. Será aine, será aine, será aine, será aine.
Miró con estaba chiquita, pero sí miró que andaban grabando eso. Llegaron gente gringa y estaban haciendo preguntas sobre canciones y quién se anima a cantar. Dijo ella que estuvo un buen rato en la comunidad. Así usted pues vino equipado con sus cosas, con su comida y se quedó ahí un buen tiempo. Yo creo que investigar la música o antahetik mo aki o ka aki pe tahta kuahkutu am kita thoma gupe ak takite ko paguha to sa yakhan wa ella nunca imaginó que volvería a escuchar, pues estuvo ahí en ese tiempo viendo por pura curiosidad lo que estaban haciendo esa gente. Pero ya muchos años después, pues lo vuelve a escuchar, pues es algo que le dio mucho gusto.
No
Pagka-ayo kung ake me santo itrea ondam ram.
Aquí protea tamaya a o que protea
Dice que
y no voy a sentir protea.
nostálgica, le llegó una emoción
Tú que va que protea.
porque muchas veces lo ha visto cantar esas canciones pues, en su casa porque ellos vivían juntos siempre. Él es el hermano de la mamá de ella.
Hemos Burgos, sí.
Ella se llama Carmen Burgos. Yo todavía soy Burgos. Yo me llamo Filomena Barnett Burgos. No es muy lejano, pues es cerca. Yo tengo 48 años, pero no. Ella dice que todavía estaba soltera cuando él falleció.
Para que yo lo pueda curar, una limpia, una mala suerte, yo puedo ayudar, puede limpiar, puede cambiar espíritus, seres más bonitos. Yo puedo hacer, mira, yo tengo 87 años, pero yo tengo espíritu muchacho, tengo muy alegre todo el tiempo, muy alegre, por eso canto. Y no tengo vergüenza para cantar porque el espíritu mío es muy alegre. Canción de me dormí de la isla Tiburón, casi una playa del mar, está muy cerquita, duermo ahí. Ahí viene el espíritu, ese espíritu que tengo, el mar, viene el mar, espíritu que tengo corazón. Yo en la isla Tiburón dormí allí y viene el espíritu, el corazón mío. Por eso yo traigo todo el tiempo mi corazón como nuevo, como chamaco chiquito. Por eso muy alegre andaba con todos los amigos que andaban aquí. Eso que no, Kaito a mí me conozco, no, esto que no, Kaito a mí me conozco, no, esto que no, Kaito a mí me conozco, no, esto que no, Kaito a mí me conozco, no,
Escogiate que me das ya jefe potano come no geta asa que ema que hele que ya hele que yo no te ya amateme no que ya amateme no que ya escogiate que me das ya jefe potano come no geta asa que ema que hele que ya hele que yo no te amateme no que ya amateme no que escogiate que me das ya jefe potano asa que ema que hele que ya hele que yo no te amateme no que ya amateme no que escogiate que me das ya jefe potano come no geta Asatwe ema kia hele kwe ya ganga hele kwe yo no te ya. Amate me no ge ya. Amate me no ge ya. Riko ya te ke me da se ya jepe pota no go me no ge ta. Asatwe ema kia hele kwe ya ganga hele kwe yo no te. Amate me no ge ya. Amate me no ge ya. Riko ya te ke me da se ya jepe pota no go me no ge ta.
Okay. So this is part of some of the songs that were recorded during the time that I was there, and also in a way translated some of them for you to understand some of the topics that are discussed within these 80 songs that were recorded by Henrietta Georgienko. And many of these capture a lot of relationships with the natural landscape where the Comcac live, right, the Sonoran Desert. So a lot of abiotic and biotic interactions, right, between animals and the landscape. And it really talks a lot about a different time, right, before the 50s and the advent of television, mass media. People's connection to the landscape was very strong, right, and in a way it was captured in these songs. And I think these songs allow us, for us to think a little bit about times in which that connection was much more significant for the people that were constantly interacting with the landscape, right? So that's where the presentation will end, and I hope that you enjoyed some of the work and how I pieced it together, so you could understand a little bit about the meaning of these songs that were recorded in the 40s. Okay, so thank you so much for listening.